Guys, welcome back to the channel. We're out the lake. I've got to start getting all this cleaned up and junk taken out because it's kind of left over from the summer where we just didn't do a final cleanup. So I got this little, I guess what I call my junkyard area. Realistically, I got my old school Ram here. It probably needs a battery. Smart car or my golf cart runs fine. But then I got some other stuff over here that really shouldn't be here. But the big thing is this motor. So this is a 4.0. Out of a 1997 Jeep Wrangler, has about 120,000 miles on it, and this was the first TJ I had a guy hit me, and I took the motor out of it because the TJ I have now has over 200,000 miles on it, right at 200,000 miles on it. And the plan was to put this motor in its place. Well, about 5 years ago, the first time this place really flooded, and this motor was sitting here, and it was all covered up, and it was protected. And I didn't think the flood waters was going to get that high. Well, guys, things have certainly turned worse. So this motor's been flooded for days at a time, at least twice, maybe 3 times. I'm not sure. We've had 3 floods. I can't remember if this was out here for the very first one. But what I want to know is just how bad is it? What happens when a motor sits underwater for several weeks and then sits out after that for several years? So I thought we'd start out by let's see what this looks like. All right, that ain't good. I don't know if we can see that, but that's looks like oil that's been sitting under a lake for a long time. I remember this was always hard to get off. The cap's broke. Great. I may start unbolting random crap just to get it broken down, like stuff like the old AC compressor that never worked anyway. I have very minimal hand tools here. One of the pains in the butts, though, is the number one there is always just the hardest to get to. It's kind of sandwiched in by the AC compressor and the return line for the heater hose. Pull that valve cover off is kind of my goal, to see what the valve train looks like from the top side. I know the oil pan is completely full of water. We saw that on the dipstick. So guys, I finally got this broken spark plug out. Let's take a look at it. Now, I'm no expert. That gap might be a skosh wide. Also, I don't think it's supposed to have that much water in the spark plug. I think your spark plug fluid stays at a minimum. All right, there's too much dirt and crap and spiders in there. Oh, man, you got 9 lives, but not 10. Yes. Oh, my knuckles. All right. Same gap. And yes, I'm quite aware that electrode's probably just rotted out, but guys, that may be a bad idea. I think there's so much water in it that all the oil is floated to the top. If I try to lift this valve cover, it's just going to come pouring out. I don't want to just dump quarts of oil on the ground right here. There's a tarp underneath the whole thing, so we'll see. So guys, here she is. And mixed bag here. There was about I don't know, maybe a quarter of a quart, probably half a quart up here where it all got pushed up, I assume, from the water through the valves. Very odd. I guess because the engine's been sitting down, these up here had plenty of oil around them and kept the moisture at bay, because they look great. I mean, springs look good, rockers look good, everything's super tight, girdles look good. But then when you get to this side, woo-wee. This is obviously where the moisture came up and settled. Look at how rusty the springs are. I don't think that dog ain't gonna hunt. Wow. Not what I expected. I expected a lot more corrosion throughout the whole thing, not just the surface level corrosion. Because again, this thing was completely underwater for several weeks, and then has sat out here ever since. I don't think I figure if the water displaced the oil so much, I have a feeling the crank might look a lot worse, but I just don't know. I definitely want to get this head off now. Here's one thing that I did note. There's literally water pouring out of this spark plug hole. I took all the spark plugs out. I'm gonna attempt to turn it over by hand. So look out for any of them push rods that are moving. All right, let's see if she's froze, how froze she is, if she is froze. Wish I did have a bigger pull handle, but whatever. Do what you gotta do. Oh. It moved. It did move. Oh, ooh, I don't want to move now. Nope. Alright, I'm gonna wind up breaking this the head off this crank bolt. And that is not something I'm wanting to do. Well, fellas, day 2 of working on this thing, just tearing it down and seeing just how bad an engine can be after being flooded twice. We got the engine up on itself and got the transmission pulled off. That was interesting, but it might need a new clutch. Throwout bearing might be bad. Just a guess. First, I'm gonna get all the accessories off of it. I've gotten some off. AC come off, starters off, original starter, and alternators off. I'm gonna take those aluminum brackets off. I'm saving those. I'm gonna take the water pump off. Water pump is bad anyway. I'm gonna go ahead and take the manifold off, save it. I don't know if my tape and plastic bag held. Should be fine. Probably take this water neck off and keep it pretty clean inside. So if you ever need to get a TJ water pump, early TJ water pump off, and you don't take the whole thing off and you don't have a puller to get this off, you can see you can actually access the bolts through these holes. Thank goodness. You know, there might have been a little sediment get down into the intake. Darn. All right, guys, you let me know in the comments. Is this savable? Out of the way. Saving intake manifold, but I don't know. Let's see if this is soft or. Ooh, yeah, okay, that's just mud. Huh. I'm wondering if under this layer of junk, I think that's gonna be savable. At least the head, anyway. I mean, obviously you'd have to take all the valves out and redo everything. I think the head itself can be machined. Draining the oil will be the money shot. All right, guys, flywheel flex plate's off. So we're There's only a few roaches living in it, so we killed them. I think it's time to jack it up and drain the whatever's in that oil pan. It's probably going to be mainly clear water with a whole bunch of sludge in the bottom. We'll see. Water already. Huh. That looks so good you can drink it. Holy crap, this 5-gallon bucket's getting filled up and it's not even slowing down. Holy moly. Alright, I'm gonna have to stop filming for a second while I go empty the 5-gallon bucket into a bigger bucket. Alright, we're back. This is insane. I knew it was full of water, but I didn't know. So now we know, guys, a 4.0 liter can hold about 10 gallons of oil. Who knew? I was only putting 5 quarts in it. Oh, okay, here we go. All right, let me go get this emptied into a bigger container before I fill it up full of oil. All right, now my oil's coming out. I'm shocked it is that black and oily. There we go. That's what I expected. Whoa. It's getting dark, but here's what the cylinders look like now that we've got everything done. They got a lot of rust on them, or corrosion, not really rust. That one's got dirt. And they all got quite a bit of water, except for that one for some reason. Oh, and that one. Yeah, that one's got oil. Well, I poured a bunch of Marvel Mystery Oil down the spark plug. How thick is that mud right there on that piston?
But it's not stuck to it, I mean, it's...
No, it's all wet. Wonder what... That's pretty, well, it definitely has to be honed out. I apologize for ending the video so abruptly, but we kind of got to a conclusion on that motor. And the only thing to go is to get it on an engine stand, which I don't have. Flip it over, look at the crank, get it all tore apart, get the pistons broke loose, and then really take a look at it. So that's going to be the next video, which is coming out in 2 weeks. Next week's video is going to actually be a couple new projects that we got coming. One for Russell and one for me.
Like another ground or something.
A couple barn finds, maybe barn finds? I mean, they're in a barn. Barn finds? That might be interesting. And then we'll get back to the 4.0 teardown. So in 2 weeks, new video, next video, and that'll be the last one of this one. I am going to rebuild that motor. I've decided. I'm going to end the video here. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned. Have a great day.